Alright, Black Ops 6 has been out for about a week now, and I've already hit Prestige 1. I've had enough time to dive deep into what the game has to offer, so today I'll be breaking down whether it's worth getting. I'll be covering everything, from the campaign and multiplayer to zombies, and some of the new and improved features and mechanics that make this game stand out. Let's get into it. Before we start, just a heads up. There are minor spoilers ahead. If you'd like to avoid those, feel free to skip ahead to this part of the video. The story begins in 1991, right as Operation Desert Storm is unfolding. You play as William Case Calderon, a CIA operative tasked with extracting Iraq's Minister of Defense, Saeed Alawi, alongside Troy Marshall and their handler, Jane Harrow. The mission is anything but simple. Before long, Alawi warns the team about a dangerous paramilitary group called Pantheon. As they face Pantheon forces, the mission turns chaotic, and just when things seem under control, a rogue agent, Russell Adler, shows up and executes Alawi. Adler, who fled the CIA after being framed, leaves behind a cryptic message for Marshall to pass on to another familiar name, Frank Woods. After the failed mission, Deputy Director Daniel Livingstone blames Case and his team for the debacle and suspends them, ignoring any mention of Pantheon. With their backs against the wall, Woods explains that Adler's message, Bishop takes Rook, points to a safe house in Bulgaria, an old KGB base known as the Rook. Woods convinces Case and Marshall to go there with him to investigate Pantheon further, while Harrow stays behind to cover for them. In Bulgaria, they begin piecing together clues that Pantheon is more than just a rogue faction, and they're going to need backup. They use Adler's intel to bring in Felix Neumann, a former Stasi tech genius, and Savati Sev Dumas, an assassin with her own set of skills. This is where I'll leave the story for now. From here, you'll meet new allies, uncover Pantheon's dark motives, and take on high-stakes missions that dig deeper into Pantheon's plans. To find out what happens next, you'll have to experience the rest of it yourself. You ever wonder how a one-off co-op survival mode in a video game that used to feature quotes about the horrors of war has evolved over 16 years? It's hard to reconcile the original Nazi Zombies mode from 2008's World at War with the outrageous Resident Evil 6-inspired Campfest Zombies has become. But I'm not complaining about the end result. Black Ops 6's take on the mode is thrilling and unique, thanks to new movement mechanics, good map designs, killer Easter eggs, absurd guns, and the glorious return of round-based gameplay. The Zombies mode features two all-new maps: Terminus, a prison complex turned research station, and Liberty Falls, a small town in West Virginia facing the worst day ever. The story itself is a direct sequel to the Zombies campaign in 2020's Black Ops Cold War. But if you, like me, have forgotten what happened in the intervening years, there isn't much effort to catch you up. Expect plenty of proper noun-filled dialogue that had me thinking, I vaguely remember that person. That said, there are some neat story beats here, and you get more out of each map if you pay attention to the details. Unfortunately, the mid-combat dialogue often felt excessive, as modern video game characters have a tendency to talk too much. Their banter sometimes feels like it was compiled from a Schwarzenegger film, which can be amusing but mostly just blends into the background. The biggest change in Black Ops 6 is the complete overhaul of the movement mechanics. You can sprint, slide, and dive in every direction, chaining these moves together and enjoying a full 360 degrees of motion. This allows for some stylish escapes from zombies. While this Omni movement feels good, it's more of a cool addition than something you'll use constantly, especially when zombies become more numerous in later rounds. My favorite aspect of this year's Zombies mode is the maps themselves. I prefer Liberty Falls for its open areas and fun travel options, like the entertaining zip lines. It also has a more traditional structure, focusing on paying essence to open doors, as opposed to Terminus, which requires restoring power to generators. That said, Terminus does offer some unique elements, like using a powered raft to access smaller islands during an Easter egg hunt. Discovering Easter eggs is one of the most enjoyable parts of the game. You have your main quest ones, like solving math equations in Terminus's science lab to build a powerful wonder weapon. Then there are optional Easter eggs, like finding bowling shoes on Liberty Falls and going zombie bowling. There are plenty of fun Easter eggs to uncover, but you'll likely need a pre-built group to enjoy them fully, as random matchmaking can be hit or miss. You'll need to know what perks to buy first, when to pack-a-punch your weapons, and more. While Gobblegums return from Black Ops 3 as single-use power-ups, my team generally preferred investing in guaranteed boons rather than gambling on them. Learning how to make sense of all this is part of the fun, but it requires coordination. Without it, you're in for a rough time. Treyarch plans to introduce a more guided, story-focused version of the mode later on that disables Easter eggs and side quests, which I wish was available now to avoid the matchmaking roulette. Account progression earned in Zombies does carry over to multiplayer, but completing a map can take hours, and you can't save your progress unless you play solo. For instance, it took my group about 3 hours to clear Liberty Falls, and dying near the end feels soul-crushing. There are also bugs to contend with. Sometimes I couldn't interact with objects, which meant my teammates had to take care of it. We experienced mid-match disconnects and stuttering, which can be frustrating but isn't uncommon for a big multiplayer launch. To sum up Black Ops 6's Zombies mode, it's absurd, campy, and amazing. The combination of grenade-launching sniper rifles, exploding spider monsters, and hordes of zombies creates a chaotic but fun experience. Clearing a map for the first time gives a great sense of accomplishment, despite some bugs. I'm ready to hop back into Terminus tonight to track down a few more Easter eggs. Overall, Zombies is fantastic this year. The camo grind is time-consuming but enjoyable with great rewards. It's a must-try. Alright everyone, let's talk about the multiplayer experience in Call of Duty. Black Ops 6. One standout feature this year is Omni Movement. Imagine leaping in any direction while firing. You minimize exposure while maximizing your aiming potential. While we can debate other games' mechanics, the fun and fast-paced competition in Black Ops 6 make it hard to go back to Modern Warfare 3 after hundreds of hours. Omni Movement isn't entirely new, but it's the first time developers have embraced it fully. It can feel a bit clunky, especially with mouse and keyboard, but after about 20 hours of play, I'm starting to burst into rooms with a sideways dive and keep my aim steady. The real magic happens when you dive backward, allowing you to hit the ground for cover while still aiming freely. You can reposition easily, and it looks cool when executed well. But Omni Movement isn't foolproof. Overcommit, and you might end up on the wrong side of a bullet. I still find traditional slides and dives more reliable in gunfights. Still, Omni Movement adds a fun layer to my gameplay. Now, onto the heart of Call of Duty, the gunplay. Black Ops 6 nails it. I've been grinding with the XM4 since launch, customizing it with 8 attachments through the Gunfighter wildcard. It's a powerhouse that excels in nearly every situation, from taking out snipers on large maps to handling medium-range fights on smaller ones. Sniper rifles are tough to master, but they're lethal in skilled hands. I'm warming up to SMGs, and their impact in matches is impressive. They can melt enemies at medium range. I'm excited to experiment more with marksman rifles as I unlock attachments. Shotguns and LMGs aren't my favorites, but I can make them work in modes like gunfight. One fantastic aspect this year is how perks function. Equip 3 perks from the same category to unlock a special 4th perk. I love a full recon setup, revealing enemy positions at spawn for a solid advantage. Speaking of maps, I've come to love Rewind and Scud, which I found average during the beta. Now, they're among my favorites. Rewind balances long corridors and close quarters interiors perfectly, while Scud offers excellent sniper lanes, catering to various loadouts and strategies. However, I've noticed some glitches, like getting an XP screen showing a negative experience count. Thankfully, these haven't severely impacted my gameplay, but the developers need to address them. Overall, Black Ops 6 delivers an engaging multiplayer experience that feels fresh while keeping the core elements we love. I can't wait to dive back in and continue leveling up my skills and weaponry. Thanks for joining me in this deep dive into Call of Duty, Black Ops 6. Priced at $70, this game truly offers great value for the exhilarating multiplayer experience it provides. Sure, there are a few bugs here and there, but they don't take away from the overall fun. If you're looking for an action-packed gaming experience, Black Ops 6 delivers. Don't hesitate. Dive in and enjoy every moment. Catch you on the battlefield.